Welcome back to Man Up. It's been a while since we did one of these. So usually we have Carl with us in the studio, but today we have Jason, and what a convo we have for you today. So I've noticed that of late, and I was just informed off air that it's not something that's recent, but it's been going on for a while, that there seems to be an assault against males. You know how women were about being sexually assaulted and all types of assault, the Me Too movement and all that. But there seems to be an all-out war being waged against men, manhood, masculinity. And it's not just coming from women, it's also coming from men, which is frightening. So I'm having a conversation today with Jason about that. And maybe if you hear something that you would like to have an input on in our next program, we could have your thoughts presented and I'll ask him in a follow-up on your thoughts. But today, I just want to ask one question, but it may lead to others. So, Jason, the real question I want to ask is, we've talked about all the different things about the manosphere and things happening with men and women, but I want to ask you straight up, why is there a warfare against men? Why is there an assault against manhood?
The number one issue or reason is economics. Women are the supporters of retail sales, impulse buying, and they, for the most part, they do earn money, but they lack discipline when it comes to just walking somewhere through the mall. They support these businesses, these cars that's being sold. So much so that even in the NFL, they have made jerseys that women can wear. You name it, any sport just about now, which is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with women having their team, if you will. But even now, if you notice with beer commercials, they are now advertising to women. It used to be back in the days for a woman to drink out of a bottle was on class. But now they have them drinking out of bottles instead of drinking out of the glass and selling them beer now, marketing to them. So that's the number one issue. The other underlying issue is this war on men has always been going on. It's just like an analogy when everybody was saying, oh my God, they're shooting black men and pulling them over and hitting on them and doing all these things. It's always been going on. It's just that it got on camera now. So it seems something new, but it's always been happening. Why are they doing it? Now, if I'm controlling the world, if I want to control a populace, I know that I must capture the woman and control that woman in order to rule that populace or nation or group of people. To say it like this, the arm of white supremacy is through the arm of the black woman. That's just the truth. The abortion number is 20 million, if I'm not mistaken. Planned Parenthood. If you want to destroy a nation, you destroy its woman through the womb. So the destruction of black men has always been on the forefront because on a genetic level, if a Caucasian male or female gets with a melanated male or female, it produces a melanated child. You can look at President Obama for that. So on a genetic level or genetic war, if you will, I understand why they would do what they do if you had that type of thinking. So in order to rule the populace, once again, you have to go through the woman. And you have to convince her that her partner is against her. It wasn't like that before. But like I said, like I've said in the past, the feminist movement was funded by J.D. Rockefeller. And for the most part, their white women had problems. They used to actually literally throw them out and leave them destitute on the road. And this is why these systems came up, or certificate of marriage, a contract where you're tied to the state. And if you're in a no-fault divorce state, which is Florida as well, you can pretty much use marriage as a racket, which is what they do, where you have family court and a divorce system that's set up to pretty much destroy any male that ventures into that arena. It starts also in the home. Majority of us are raised by our mothers. Our fathers were either alienated from their children or divorced, and for the most part wasn't encouraged to come around, but forced to pay a bill. Now here's what I'm going to say to you about that. Some people disagree with that. Some people will have their, reservations about that, but this is how you got to look at it. I don't have any children, but if I do, and I don't pay child support, I go to prison, or, my license get taken away where I cannot even drive to look for a job, or I have to pay these crazy amount of monies to do what I need to do. But now if she cannot take care of her child, she gets Section 8. She gets money. She gets set up very well, to the point so much so that the more babies she has, the more payout she has as far as the government is concerned. So it's set up to be against you the minute you are signed out the hospital with your social security number. You're a straw man. The bottom line is they're rewarded for not being accountable, and you're destroyed for not being accountable.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen, I know you've been around the planet for a long time, so have you ever seen or heard women apologizing for being women?
No.
I didn't think so. Sadly, over the past couple of days and months, actually, I've seen that where men are apologizing for being men, for being masculine, and seeming to believe some type of script that they have done something wrong, where now they're kowtowing to these women. And that's the real problem that I have, and the real reason why I wanted to come on air. So can you talk about that for a minute? Why do you think a man needs to apologize for being a man? I think you touched on it a little bit earlier, what you said about being raised in a woman-only home, but can you expand on that?
No, men don't have to apologize for being their nature. The thing is, if you have men that are supporting the Me Too movement, if you will, these men are raised by their mothers. So in actuality, it's a male with a female mind. Some are called simps or whatever you want to call them. But the bottom line is they are raised to be against themselves and others that wish to leave the plantation, if you will. Wish to leave to be cuffed, if you will. I always have a philosophy. If you cannot master your mother, you cannot master any woman. As simple as that. Now, what do you mean master the woman? Listen, take it how you want to take it. A man is the lead, no matter what you call it. And you know what? Put it like this. We don't even got to go there with it. Lead yourself. What is the antidote to all this? As a man, I would tell all men, if you're listening to this, get a way of making your own income. Focus on your purpose. Focus on you. Make that be your number one priority. And you'll never have a problem with women. Master yourself. Get the female that was placed extra in you when you are raised by your mother with no father in the home or no male around, no male guidance. Get that mother out of you. Get man back in you. I remember telling a lady, and I won't mention her name, I told her to enroll her son into martial arts. Oh no, I'm not going to do that. I don't want him to be violent. I don't want him to have the idea that he must fight in order to solve an issue. Well, here's the thing. Your first line of defense is your men. If your men are raised to be women, who's going to defend the community or defend the home? You see, you're equal until it's time to go to war. But we have women raising men, or should I say males. And that is a problem. And it's manifesting in the streets because we're emotional and we get in arguments, and the first thing we want to do is pull out a gun and blow each other's brains out. This is the truth. And statistically, it can prove or be proven that where there's no male in the home, you have these type of issues, even down to education. When there's no men educating the men in school, the grades are lower. But if you notice, Black Girl Rocks, all these programs for women, but nobody's concerned about the men. That is a problem. And it's a sick situation that's going to manifest one day, and it's going to backfire on everybody because there'll be nobody to defend anything.
Good point. One last question. So, you know the expression, if you let the barn door open and the horses get out, there's no point to closing the door once you're already out. Do you see any of this being pulled back, or do you see it just escalating to all-out, full-blown warfare where it's just a field day on men, and society is just going to, as it's been doing with the LGBT and all these different types of agendas, you see it just escalating to the point where society picks up the mantra, and all of a sudden now, not just marketing to women, but it's like, women need a reparation of their own.
There's something coming with the banking system, and a reality is going to hit male and female. And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take, great true example, COVID. I was out there getting supplies, and I watched the different ethnic groups, if you will, in the stores shopping, getting their stuff for their families. And there was a shortage of toilet tissue. Now, as simple as that sounds, toilet tissue. I saw black women by themselves shopping, and they had to wait because the other ethnic groups had their husbands or their men with them, and they were getting items that they could defend and fight for. You can't fight men when trouble comes. So I use that example. When this banking system does what it does, and let's say they cut the grids off and you have to defend yourself, it is then you're going to realize the importance of masculinity. It is then you're going to realize the importance of men. And it's going to backfire, because I think a lot of men have woken up and they're going to say, no, you're a strong, black, independent woman. You can handle your own things. You're very strong. You've been handling it for so long. Continue. And this is what's happening now. A reality is, it's slowly trickling. But COVID was a wake-up call. But they've gone back to what they normally do now. But this thing that's coming now, it's going to make COVID look like, I don't know, an ice cream treat. This thing is going to get very serious, very extremely serious. And there's going to be a reckoning.
That's the thing I'm worried about. That's the reason why I wanted to do this, because it seems like I said, the whole horse analogy, and you touched on it a little bit, because I don't think whatever's being put in motion, persons, especially the men and women on the street, and they're the ones who are always getting caught up in the drama, in the blowback. And I'm really concerned, because what I see is that you don't realize that there's a role, there's a reason why your man has to play the role he is. And if the whole effeminization of men continue, or males continue, as you would put it, then, as you said, walking down the street, late at night one time, he's going to say, honey, can you defend me? Instead of the other way around, and people look at these things, and like, we have in this country, in this world, we've seen things come in, and we don't try to meet it. We don't try to confront it. We just let it come, and then after it comes, then we just have this mentality of, okay, well, it's not my problem. But then when it comes, it's you should see pictures that I see of little boys now, not just dressing up like girls, not just, pretending to be girls, but actually being indoctrinated to be girls, and mothers wanting that perfect daughter has it in her son. I just think that there has to be some kind of solution, and that's what I'm trying to get at. Do you see that there's any solution, there's any way out of this? Bob
Marley has a saying in one of his songs, the only total destruction is the only solution.
That's what I was afraid of.
And the bottom line is, women have to want men to be men. And that's the truth. Somebody says, no, it's up to you. It's up to the males. No, it's not. You're the one raising the male children. You need to go down to these PTA meetings and demand that your males be paid attention to. I think the average male can't read past the 9th or 8th grade level.
Something like that.
Yeah, they're not paying attention to them. If your men cannot, or males cannot, adapt in society or get involved in what is bringing in currency at the time, what do you expect your daughters to have? If you're not going to do it for you, do it for your daughters of tomorrow. But you're not thinking that, because the funny thing is, the older women are now competing with the younger women. So they're not telling them their pitfalls. In fact, they encourage them. This is why you'll have unbelievable. Hillary Clinton does an interview with Megan Thee Stallion, and she says, my daughter used to listen to rap, and that's how I heard of you and your WAP or WAP song. And we all know what WAP stands for. I won't say it on this program. But Megan responds and said, yes, I want to be fierce. Men can say what they say, and I can say what I say, and I want to be unapologetically fierce. and Hillary with this crazy look on her face, because I guess she's lining up for the election run, is condoning this nonsense. You mean out of all the women on the planet, or all the women in the United States, Megan Thee Stallion talks to Hillary Clinton? You don't see the design behind that? You don't see that it's furthering the nail in the coffin? Because if this 304 culture is promoted by the government itself, because let's make no mistakes about it, education, or the free education system, is sponsored by the government. So whatever the children are learning and what is produced from it, that's exactly the results that they want. So now, if Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B can go to the White House or talk to members of the government, what representation do you think the world is seeing of us? How do you think we're being viewed around the planet? And most importantly, how are you being viewed in your own country right now? There's a systemic problem going on. And in my opinion, only destruction is going to fix this. It's going to be a lot of growing pains, but it's going to be very necessary, because it is out of control when a child can now be taught that you can decide what gender you are. We're talking about kindergartens that they're giving this to now. There's a problem. And if we don't at least admit that there's an issue and put forth an effort to change it within ourselves, I don't see it getting fixed. And quite frankly, destruction is the only way to get it going, my opinion.
So that's all the time we have for Thank You, Jason. So before we close, man, I just want to encourage you to, as our program says, man up. And there's nothing wrong with taking back your identity. There's nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, just like so many things that's been stolen from you, that society makes it seem like it's the new normal. That, okay, well, we're more equal, we're more tolerant. That is not true. And women who really know what's going on, and I've seen some posts on Facebook and social media, you guys really know what's going on. You guys you know what's happening. So try to tell your sisters not to buy into the foolishness, because it's not making you better. It's making you bitter, but not better. So brothers, man up, and let's do this. Thank you, Jason, once again for being with us. And like I said at the beginning, if you have any additional input, please on the comments or DM me, and we'll have a part 2 to this. But